Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. And the name of this lesson is going to be entitled, We Have to Put Off the Weak Nature. You know, the Lord is not with that weak nature, you know, the weak nature of men. You know, so he brings us through things to make us stronger. All right? And he's going to bring you through things that you never thought that you can deal with, or that you thought that he wouldn't put you through. You know, you thought that because you were in this truth, you were exempt from this particular thing. Oh, because you're diligent, you do lessons and this and that. Oh, the Lord's not going to bring me through these particular things. It doesn't work that way, because, you know, he knows what you need to go through in order to get to the next level. You know, and the only way to get to the next level is from doing things that you didn't do. You know, doing things that are harder than what you're used to. Okay? So the Lord is going to do these things. And when you go through these things, you're not supposed to faint. You know, you're not supposed to get weak. You know what I'm saying? You may have moments of weakness, but you're supposed to rebuke that, you know, and find your inner strength. Okay? You're supposed to rebuke that and find your inner strength, because many have fainted from the fire, all right, that the Lord puts upon you, all right? And if you faint based upon the fire, there's no excuse. You know, you can't say, oh, because of the fire, the heat that you put me under, that's why I fainted. The Lord doesn't want to hear that. He doesn't want to hear that weak stuff. He doesn't care about that, all right? He knows what you can handle. He knew you were in you were being a diva, in other words, right? He knew, listen, you could have went through that, all right? You just didn't want to go through that because you were being a diva. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You had that weak nature. You were leaning into that weak nature rather than leaning into strength, rather than leaning on Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. You know? So we have to think about those things when we go through different things, man. Okay? And yeah, the scriptures say that, you know, no chastening for the present moment seemeth to be joyful, but later it will give the peaceable fruits of righteousness. Right? So you have to go through it in order to receive the benefit from it. You know, and you'll feel stronger. You know? You'll feel stronger. Because I remember parts of, you know, in my walk before, well, I'll say before even my walk, you know, of extreme weakness, man. It's like, yo, and I think about it now, it's like, how did I get, you know, how was I worried about this? How was I nervous about this or that, this and the third? And now, you know, certain things you go through, you just brush it off. It's like nothing to you, you know? So imagine, you know, our apostles and elders, you know, being in this thing 35, 40 years, man. Right? Elder bishops, 25 plus years. Imagine, you know, the things that they had to endure and become stronger through. Right? The Lord is creating spiritual soldiers, man. You know? And a soldier doesn't have time to complain. A soldier doesn't have time to wallow in his sorrows. He has a mission, right? Even if he might be in a state of being hurt, you know, he still has a mission he has to accomplish. You can't say, nah, I'm just gonna curl up here and, you know, and rest, because, you know, there's something he has to get done. You know, bullets is flying at you in the time of war. Bullets, you know, if you go back to the ancient world, swords, arrows, You can't just dig a ditch and rest in it. Nah, man, you gotta work. Even if you get hit with an arrow, man, you gotta try to work. You gotta try to move, man. You know, you at least gotta put in that effort, and the Lord sees when you put in the effort. The Lord sees your mindset. The Lord weighs the spirits. Okay, Scripture says that the spirit of man is a candle, right? That the Lord uses to search. So he sees your intent. He sees your mindset, right? He knows that we're but flesh and that we're going to get weak. He understands that. But how do you deal with the weakness? How do you deal with, the persecution, the tribulation, losing things? How do you deal with that? That's what's important. Do you forsake the Lord? Do you go to the world? No. Right? You have to lean into Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. He's the only one who can help you anyway. You understand? He's the only one that can help. All right? These different things that you use to sedate yourself in the flesh, that's all temporary. Because when you wake up, you have to still deal with that. That's still the problem is still there. The reality is still there. Okay? The only one that can get you out of that situation is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And nothing is more beautiful when he does something for you that's, is miraculous. It's like, wow, look how the Lord delivered me from this. You know? So long I was going through this situation, but look how he pulled me out of this. I see how he took me right out of this thing, man. It put me on higher ground. All right, but you gotta receive the lesson and the upgrade that he wants you to receive in that situation first. All right, you have to receive the upgrade, man. He's upgrading us. He's stretching us to a new level. Hey, by the time Jacob's trouble hits, man, the elect is going to be in a different mind state, first of all. And the Lord's just going to, first of all, he's going to just turn us up. He's just going to turn up the spiritual, the right-hand side, man. But the person that you are now, man, compared to that time, is going to be different. It's going to be different. Even going through that time, there's going to be things that, there's going to be challenges in the spirit. But to go through it, you're going to have to be on a level to begin with. Okay? And everyone says, yeah, I could do this and that. I trust in the Lord. Yeah, but the Lord will bring you right to the brink. He'll bring you right to the edge. He'll do those things, man. See? Your last, how do you say, your last wit's end? Where you're like, damn, Lord, please. But, studying, keep, keep doing righteousness, Don't go to the left, man, nor to the right. Make sure that you stay the path, man. That's what's important. And yeah, all those things we struggle with, all those things we fall off on because of life, right? It's shit, I know I should be reading more. I know I should be studying more. I know I should be doing this more. I know I should be doing that more. And you could pull up all the excuses in the world. But just because you pull up those excuses, it doesn't take away from the benefit of doing those things. Right? Yeah, I'm not doing it because, I don't got a place to stay right now. I'm really kind of homeless and this and that, or I'm going through this and that. Okay, cool. But does that take away from the benefit of reading? Does that take away from the benefit of studying? Does that take away from the benefit of doing these lessons and doing the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai? Does that take away from the benefit of prayer? No, it doesn't. So who are you hurting by not doing it? you're only negatively affecting yourself. Right? The scriptures say, blessed is he who readeth, man. So by you not giving yourself that blessing because of whatever excuse, I was working a lot, I didn't have time to do it. Who's being affected negatively by that? You in the spirit. You're not hurting Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. There's even a scripture that says, if you sin, who are you hurting? You're not hurting me. There's a scripture roughly paraphrased. A brother could post it if he knows what I'm talking about. I know there's brothers out there that know. Okay, you're not affecting me negatively. You're hurting yourself by transgressing. You're hurting yourself, and by doing right, by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Hey, you're benefiting yourself because the law, statutes, and commandments was created to benefit man. It wasn't created to destroy. Because of this world, we feel like the law, statutes, and commandments are an inconvenience sometimes. It's because of this world. This world is not conducive for righteousness. You see? So when the Sabbath hits and you're behind on, you got to hustle a little bit because you're behind on your rent, you're behind on this, you're behind on that. Oh, I got to get more bread together. I got to do this, I got to do that. Hey, so it becomes what? It becomes like an inconvenience to you because of the way this world is. But it was created for the benefit of man. Right? And the Lord, the Lord knows what situation we would be in, and that's why he said, don't be over much righteous, man. Don't be over righteous, man. All right? And by doing those particular things, although it may be lawful, you can still be going off. Hey, the Lord loves them that he dwells with them, or loves only them that dwell with wisdom, man. He don't like no fool, man. Even though you're in this world, you can't go too much to the left. All right? You at the forefront and understand that that's most important. Right? And when we deviate from that, we have to get back on track. The righteous man falleth 7 times, but getteth back up. Right? And the elder dropped that scripture I was talking about, Job 35:6. It says, if thou sinnest, what doest thou against me, against him? Or if thy transgressions be multiplied, what does thou unto him? You're not hurting Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai by not doing the right thing. You're hurting yourself. Okay? So when we go through these tribulations, we could try to use that as an excuse to do this and do that. But listen, hey, we know what the right way is. We know the right way. We know when we fall off the path. We know when we're slacking. So get back on the path. Get back on the path of righteousness, man. And stay on that path. There's nothing wrong when you fall. When you fall, you're only human. The Lord understands you're but flesh. But it's about, it's about how you deal with it. It's about, you redirecting yourself to the right path. All right. So I just want to say that real quick. This is pretty much a short lesson. Something that was in my spirit, didn't have nothing on my mind specifically, but this was the title that came to me through the spirit, and I'll say shalom.